What's happening, everybody? I know it's been a minute that I made a video, but in this video, I'm gonna give an overview about the Chargers versus Patriots, and honestly, my opinions about the Chargers in general. So the Chargers facing against the New England Patriots, man. This is gonna be a really good game. Justin Herbert versus Drake May, two really talented quarterbacks. Of course, in this video, I'm going to be very biased because that's just who I am as a person. But of course, I'm just here to give my opinions. I'm not a professional sports analyst, but just a guy that's just you know what? It's like why not? Why not give my personal opinions about what's going to happen? So, anyways, let's take a dive. So, the Chargers, we got Justin Herbert, who I personally think is the best football player in the world, and I feel like he's gonna show it this Sunday. Um, he pretty much has a banged up offensive line. Like, not, like even with our O line healthy, we still have the worst interior offensive line in the NFL. You got Bradley Bozeman, who I don't know why Harbaugh's starting him because he's pretty awful. Because I watched Andre James last week versus the Broncos, and Andre James was a lot better in the pass protection. Maybe the run game, Bradley Bozeman was better, but still, I would have rather stuck with Andre James, but Bradley Bozeman is starting, unfortunately. Um, then you're missing Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater. Um, but thank goodness for Jamar Sawyer because he's the reason why the left the left side of the position is it's still bad, but it's not as bad as when Austin Deculus was starting. Like the reason why Chargers fans have a cult mentality with Justin Herbert is because he literally finds a way to overcome the odds. Like Justin Herbert pretty much has one of the worst supporting casts in the NFL. Like he has the worst offensive line in the NFL. Um, his weapon room, I would say, is average. Like it's nothing special. Um, it's bearable compared to last year. Last year was even worse. Because Quentin Johnson can't catch the ball, and this year Quentin Johnson is somewhat decent. You got Keenan Allen, who's solid. Lyle McConkey kind of regressed, but he's still reliable when you need him. And then you got a solid tight end. Um, and then you got a nice defensive line, that's a bright side for the Chargers. You got Khalil Mack, Odafe Owe, which was a big win during the trade um, that Joe Ortiz made. Then you got Taylor Torrent, and then you got Jamar Cadwell, and you got Tuli Tuipulotu. So hopefully we get some good pressures on Drake May. And then we got a good secondary with Tarp Steele and Dante Jackson, who I think is expected to play. And then we got O'Brien Hampton, who's definitely is also going to play. And we have an underrated backup in Kamani Vidal. Now the Patriots. Patriots, I feel like a lot of people are giving them a little bit too much hate. Um, yeah, their schedule may be easier, but they're still 13-4. No one thought the Patriots was gonna go 13-4, so I don't think it's fair to say, hey, they're they're just they shouldn't be that high because a quote unquote easy schedule. If you didn't predict them to be 13-4 or at least like 11-6 before the season started, um, you know, like my guy Joey from Primetime Sports Podcast said, the Patriots didn't choose the schedule, so I'm not gonna just hate on them for just because they had a good season. Sure, you could use it as an argument of why you may think they may not be as good, but to completely write them off because of the easy schedule, I don't think I'm not gonna sleep on the Patriots. Um, Now will I say would I prefer the Patriots compared to a team like the Jacksonville Jaguars or the Texans or um, honestly I don't really fear the Broncos as much, but let's say the Texans or the Jaguars, absolutely, because their defensive line is night and day compared to them. Like I'm not saying that the Patriots' defensive line isn't bad, but it's better than going up against Will Anderson or Josh Allen, the edge rusher, not the quarterback. In the first round with the worst offensive line in the NFL. Um, they got Milton Williams and Christian Barmore. I think they could definitely exploit the weakness of Bradley Bozeman. Um, and then they got Harold Landry, who's a solid edge rusher. Um, I don't know if he's gonna play though. Like I heard, it's not guaranteed he might play. So if he's out, Justin Herbert will even have an extra break, I guess. But um, Tonga is out, which is one of their really solid defensive tackles. So that could be a break for the Chargers. And also they have a good secondary with Christian Gonzalez and all that. Um, but this is definitely going to be a pretty good game in general. Um, obviously, I got to have my team winning, but I think this is going to be a really good game. Um, the way how I see the Chargers played against the Kansas City Chiefs and Philadelphia Eagles, we swept the Chiefs this year. We pretty much, handled business with the Broncos the first time we played them. Um, and then even like last week, like when we just had our backups with Trey Lance and we're pretty much an entire team. We pretty much we're in the game versus the Broncos. You know, like that's actually pretty impressive. Um, like that gives me hope that this team has some good resiliency. Um, like the and I know people are gonna downplay the Chargers saying, "Oh, you know, they're playing in the cold and all that," which is fair, but we did defeat the Kansas City Chiefs when the Chiefs were on the line and we defeated them. Like that really gives me a lot of optimism for sure. Even the Texans too. Did we lose to the Texans? Absolutely, but man, we were close to making a comeback for sure. Um, I feel like this Chargers team could actually, go pretty far. But of course, I'm just a Chargers fan, so of course my opinions could easily be skewed. But I hope we can show that tomorrow. Because think about it, the Chargers beat the Patriots, and then we face the Broncos, who I think yes, our D line's definitely gonna beat our offensive line, but at the same time, I think our defense could contain the Broncos. So and then that leads us to the AFC Championship. So that's gonna be an interesting one. Um, what the Chargers should do? That's a good question. Well, one big strength that I like that the Chargers have been doing is Justin Herbert has been scrambling, which is a really good strategy, honestly, because that's what Justin Herbert hasn't scrambled as much as this year. And when Justin Herbert started scrambling, man, things definitely got better. Um, another thing is, like Greg Roman, when he called the run plays, like I would like to see him use him to have him run sideways more rather than just right up in the middle and everything. So that's definitely another thing the Chargers can do. Um, other than that, man, like the Patriots, they're a really good team for sure. And I think on the defensive side, like we definitely gotta have our run game step up because that's our weakness on the defensive side is the run games. And also, we cannot have those blunt coverage like we had versus the Texans with C.J. Stroud. Um, man, those first two opening drives that the Texans got, oh, we cannot have that with Drake May, who's a significantly better quarterback. Um, I think we got the defensive line to kind of contain Drake May. Um, I know it's not the same offensive line like last year, but I think like we do got the, the solid edge rushers. Khalid Mack is a beast. Tui stepping up. Also Odafe Owe, man, like the, he he definitely got that speed for sure. And then another underrated piece is what's his face, Denzel Perryman. He's gonna return as well too. And Denzel Perryman, man, he should not have got suspended, but who knows? In this scenario, could be a blessing in disguise because he is well rested and he's gonna sniff blood for sure. He's gonna sniff blood for sure. So I think it's a pretty interesting game. Um, Now on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident I am versus the Patriots? Um, I would probably give it a 6.5. Um, because I just want to temper my expectations. So I bet my real, like during game time, I bet my confidence level is going to be a lot higher. But right now, I would say 6.5 because like Drake May, he is a stud for sure. But I believe Justin Herbert's the better quarterback. Knock on wood. So of course I got my Chargers winning. But anyways, man, that should definitely conclude this video for sure. And peace. And